Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? It's Dakanoth here, and today we've got... Well, I'm gonna use a Hellfire ability, and I'm gonna rally somebody with it. And yeah, I know, some of you guys are probably thinking that's a lot of gems to be using. Yeah, well, I don't mind. I happen to have some extra Chaos Cores, and thanks to the Tycoon. And so, 2 people rally 1 target. He's not very big, alright? I'm just gonna spoil that for you, okay? He's only like 2 million, but for 2 million, I thought, hey, that's not so bad. Now, of course, he did have like a little bit of reinforcement, but yeah. There's 300,000 dead tier 4 cavalry. Now, of course, where do you stop there? You know, like, the thing about these, like, mid players, you know, anybody between, like, 2 to 6 million, I can pretty much either solo them or I can rally them. And I figured, you know, because this guy was getting reinforced and his guild was, like, super uppity about, you know, trying to keep him alive, I thought, okay, well, we'll just rally him then. Well, because, you know, well, why not? So, of course, you know, obviously I could solo this guy, but I just didn't want to deal with Zhao Mao. I don't even know if that's how you say his name, but either way, no big deal. Either way, next to it, there's another 220,000 dead. You know, and again, it gets better, you know. There's another wonderful 106,000 dead heroic fighter. Now, you know, in case you guys are wondering, alright, if you're wanting kills, do rallying. Okay, don't be scared to rally. Just follow the one and easy step that everybody needs to know. You need to send tier 2. You need to be able to get no anti-scout, and you got to be able to scout him. And of course you can hear stuff. But the main thing is you got to scout him, okay? And you got to send some siege, and you need to see what his front line is. And then you just got to counter the front line. It's really not that complicated. But it really, what's more difficult is the cost. Obviously, most people don't want to rally people because of the cost. Now, me, personally, I'm just like, I know the mechanics of this game. It's not so complicated. So I go after people that have a lot of resources. I go for Billiamite, like, you know, I'm going for the people that have billions, okay? I could go for the people that have a couple 100 million sometimes, but for the most part, I target the people that have a lot to lose with very minimal gain, you know? So that's the ideal target. Now, like, some of these guys, like here, he's only 690, you know, so, okay, that's soloable, right? But I've shown you guys what I can do with 4 million. 690 is nothing, okay? In one hit, I can pretty much zip the guy completely. Like, look at all the tier 3 dead. So for those of you starting out, yeah, this is why you shield. But for people like Movedo, you know, again, it's just more or less the same thing. I mean, in case you guys are wondering, you know, I'm basically clearing out people in 181. I'm just wiping them out and taking all their resources. So there's plenty and plenty and plenty to go. I mean, obviously, I'm not showing you a whole lot on reports there, but these guys are filthy rich on resources. Now, of course, you know, every target that I've ever hit, you know, I'm blind hitting these people. A lot of the time, if they don't have a lot of troops, I'm not going to bother to send siege and then waste, you know, precious time trying to figure out what phalanx they're in. I just go ahead and zip them if they're small enough. Now, when they get about 2 to 3 million troops, then I start to go, okay, probably need to see into what the siege is, because otherwise it winds up costing me a small fortune. And yeah, let's just say I don't like burning through my bags, but yeah, by the end of this video, you're gonna kind of realize I've burned through probably a couple 100 million foods, so lesson learned. You know, so the point being is, right, whenever you're going after people, regardless of who you're attacking, alright, the main lesson that I can give you for my experience through just going through and soloing people left and right, rallying people left and right, and being on this game for about 3 years, is that if you are expecting to do this and not take reds, expect the average player to lose anywhere from like 100 to 200,000 reds. If you're using buffer, you're expected to lose at least a good chunk of that. Like, when this was all said and done, I think I lost a little over about 200,000 tier 4, and yeah, it bites. But, you know, these are things that you kind of have to sit back, all right, and you have to think, what is the cost of fighting? It's troops. That's the way of the game. It's always been that way. It's not something that anybody doesn't already know. But something that I will say is that the larger the target gets, the more troops that it's going to take on your end to be able to zero the person out. Which is why a lot of people like to make it a zero-sum game, meaning that the more people that you can put in a rally, okay, is the least amount of troops that you're going to inflict upon yourself. And that means that more rallies you do on one person, the more less it takes for every individual participating to lose, personally. Okay, so this is why the big players that are like 1 billion might, people that are like maybe even as high as like 2 billion might, are really not in a safe place anymore, okay? Because people picked up on the fact that, you know, hey, I can rally this guy with not 1, not 2, but maybe like 5 or 10 rallies and zero him out like that. You know, because really all it takes the struggle that this game really initially had. Now, like, again, like Ken Seraph, I just happened to scout him, and he was like, okay, you know, and I can see there's 130 million timber on this guy, so I was like, okay, cool, but, you know, the main thing is I'm wiping these guys out simply because they've got troops, they've got their leader, and frankly, let's just say that I'm not a particular fan of the ruling guild in my kingdom, okay? They kind of irked me in a way by taking an account leader. Line happens to be my girlfriend's account, okay, but technically it's not even hers. It's complicated, but let's just say that they took a leader that they weren't supposed to take. So I went ahead and just felt like, okay, fine, I'm gonna hit a bunch of them. But of course, you know, this is what happens when you blind hit people, even if they've got tier 3, okay? If you don't hit them in the right phalanx, it's gonna hurt like a mother trucker, okay? This is why you want to test phalanxes, but obviously, yes, I know. I get a little over the top. Sometimes I make a mistake. I never, you know, so far I've not gotten capped doing this. I'm surprised I haven't gotten capped doing this. But, having that said, right, I know if some of you traps out there are like, oh, you should hit me. It's like, look, the only people I'm hitting are either offline, not anti-scouted, and I pray to God they're not online, but, and I'm hoping they're not a trap, you know, but these are the people that I'm hitting. I'm doing this strategically, okay? I'm not going to hit people willy-nilly just for the sake of it, and I know some of you out there will, but I'm not you, okay? But like that, you can see why, I mean, the benefit of hitting people when they're offline is that it's pretty damn easy to kill and clean out, like, a good chunk of resources like that. You know, it's pretty easy peasy. But, you know, I feel like a common misconception when playing this game is that you gotta have top-of-the-notch gear, you gotta have top-of-the-notch stats and top-of-the-notch everything, and I really think that only really applies for, like, damage purposes, but I feel like a lot of people can manage doing the same thing I'm doing here. It's just, you have to be mindful of the phalanx. You know, it's if you're not in the right phalanx and they're in counter to what you're sending, then it doesn't really do you any good. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, gear, stats, and all that jazz, I'm not saying that it doesn't help. It does, you know, but, like, a good chunk of this game really boils down to just being able to send the right troop type at the right time. You know, if you can do that, then a lot of it is easy peasy from there, and the gear and the stats and everything else is just kind of an additive. It makes it easier to do more with less. But at the end of the day, it's the principle that doesn't really change that much. So like here, you can see that guy, you know, I wiped out a good chunk in the first hit, but I still got to keep going, you know, because well, why stop there? You know, that's the main principle in this entire video, is why stop? You know, if you're going to solo somebody, solo them all the way up. So, like, there's another 449,000 dead in his leader. Now, I mean, I can go ahead and show you, but, like, here, I'm just going to go ahead and clean him out. Like, I'm going to wipe all of his resources, and I've been doing this for, like, every target I've hit. So there's another 700,000, 674 million stone. Why not? You know, because again, they're just everywhere in this kingdom. They're literally everywhere. So if you're looking for a place to chill, I mean, Kingdom 181 isn't too bad. I'm not open to joining any guilds or anything like that, though. I'm not allowing anyone in my guild or anything like that. And I'm sorry for those of you out there that are really wanting to, but that's just not how I go, and I'll just make it easier on you guys by making you wonderful Loads mobile content. So, having that said though, you know, like, even like this guy, like, I wipe them out and I go out and look for the next guy. I mean, it's pretty fun to go from like one target to the next like that, but like, a lot of these guys are only 1 million to 2 million, like that. A lot of the people I solo out aren't gonna be any more than that. And I do that out of practice. I mean, yeah, you can hit somebody as high as 4 million, and I've done it just to prove the point. Because I've seen people with a ton of tier 4 who, you know, they get, I guess, in a kingdom like mine, right, it's pretty dead. There's not anybody that's gonna go around and solo people left and right, so people get really used to not shielding. And I would see a guy like that, and I would just sit here and go, how is it that somebody could have 2 billion gold, and like a couple billion stone, and a couple billion of everything, and then just have that tiny little troop comp of like maybe 4 million troops, and just sit there and be like casual about it? Like, I don't see it in very many kingdoms. But anyways, like this guy, I mean, a little bit of tier 4, okay, but even tier 4 targets don't really scare me that much, because in one solo, I can wipe out pretty much everything. And like there's another 100,000 dead, 79,000, like, ew. Like, it's not pretty to be on the receiving end of those attacks, you know, but even still, that's just the joy of being able to solo people out, no matter how big they are. But, you know, of course, some people were asking me about the admin quests. I only ended up getting like 4 epic jewels from a couple of others, but needless to say, thank you guys for watching, and check out the other videos.